Hello YouTube, this is Saki Red, and this video is about a Pantene ad I recently saw. When I first saw the ad though, I thought it was a great message for empowering women, but by the time you got to the end of the commercial I felt the message was led astray. It opens up with an almost ominous tone, trying to sell you on this horrible concept. It starts out with a blank white screen with black type, just asking a simple question. Why are women always apologizing? I'm not 100% sure where the idea for this came from, but anyway, they show you examples of what they mean, and then they go from there. I'm going to run the first part of the ad, and then I'm going to make comments.
Sorry, can I ask a stupid question?
Sorry, do you have a minute?
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh, hey, there he is.
Mind if I squeeze in here?
Sorry. Sorry. Sorry, you go first.
I was gonna say.
Now every single one of these examples is a normal day-to-day, occurrence. The number one was, somebody who asked if they could ask a stupid question. This commonly happens a lot. And a lot of times it's people that, lack confidence in themselves. I do the same thing. A lot of people do the same thing. The second one, sorry, do you have a minute? Well, that's just being considerate a little bit. But it's still, it's not, it lacks the confidence that people, they generally want from people in office settings. The third example, that's just an example of, someone gets within your personal space and you're surprised and you say sorry. It's a typical reaction. Number four, I assume that the guy is I assume the two adults in this are supposed to be, spouses and they have a child together and that she has to hand him over the baby while she cooks. I mean, some might yell sexist at that, but it doesn't matter. It's just consideration. He's holding the baby while she's working. The fifth one, the meeting room with the rapid fire sorries, that's a typical, situation. People just, they move and they get on with it. Saying sorry is not a big deal. Number six is a typical thing. If you sleep, if you share a bed with somebody, it's common for somebody to steal the covers. They're just common scenarios. And the final one actually is the seventh situation. And in conversation, the woman's actually being very considerate here. I mean, the guy could have let her speak, but she let him go first. So it's not a big deal, But, however, then the ad posts the idea that women, or at least, being at the women's side of things on this ad, they don't want women to be sorry, so they tell you, don't be sorry.
I have a question. Why don't we go back to the original thing that we did?
I'll be making a comment on each example that is shown without saying sorry, but then I'll compare it to the one before. Now the first situation, she just simply interjects and she says that she has a question. This shows confidence in herself. It also, wasn't rude or inconsiderate. This is great. She didn't need to say sorry. She didn't need to say a whole nother sentence. But she got the point across that she had a question and she needed to know what information, she needed to know certain information from the person speaking to her. Now, we only see the person that she's talking to from, stomach levels, but we can assume it's a man. But it is kind of interesting how she is looking up at a man with all the other things going on in this commercial.
Morning. You got a minute?
The second verse, same as the first. Once again, she exudes confidence. She asks what she wants. She needs time from somebody, a coworker, maybe her boss, somebody at the same level, or it doesn't matter. She needs time. She needs to ask somebody a question or show them something for their approval, disapproval, what have you. It doesn't matter what it's for. But she exudes confidence instead of saying sorry and being meek. Now, the third example, that's kind of in the middle. Right there, she doesn't really have any reason to have to acknowledge him. But it is awkward that she doesn't say anything. That's just my take on it. I think that one's a little rude. But, you know, like I said, she's not really dignified to give any sort of response. Or, that's not the right word. I guess she's not required to. And that's just fine. That's normal. In all honesty, if she really wanted the space, I would have sat on one of the ends anyway, because people are more likely to sit with a chair between someone they don't know, but that's at least in my experience, so that's just, you know, it's just a totally weird thought to me. I would never sit in the middle.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Now, I only did the fourth situation and the sixth situation because they're both the same, really. And this is where I think the ad loses what it's, you know, any positive message it has. Instead of just being confident, yet still, you know, being considerate of others, now it's almost like cockiness. It's almost like, I'm sorry that I'm not sorry. I'm sorry that I took the blanket, but not really. I'm sorry you have to hold the baby, but not really. This is where exchanges between people, you know, it's not even any longer. And, you know, that's fine. They're not all equal. I do find it funny that the fifth situation and the seventh situation were skipped entirely. Probably because there's not really too many situations. I mean, the fifth one, you could have just had them move. You know, just, oh, sure, I'll move. Why didn't they do that? They probably cut the commercial for time. So it's not as important. Now, the seventh one, you know, if you want women to be stronger, or in this case, if they feel that they're entitled to speak first, that's when they should push in forward. But they're not going to show that because that's going to make the woman look, you know, bossy, and oh god, I'm not going into the band bossy thing because it sounds like Pantene ran another ad. Link's going to be in the description. It's a channel on YouTube was from Pantene Philippines, and it showed all these, you know, gender biased labels for women versus men, and one of them, of course, was bossy, some band bossy, which I don't agree with. I don't think words really have that much power over women. Or maybe they do. If they let them run stuff like this, ads, and that's really what they're worried about is saying sorry. I say sorry all the time. And I need to stop it because apparently I need to, you know, be strong and shine or whatever, as they say on this ad. I mean, otherwise, it's a good message. When it starts out, when it's showing you the example, the first two, maybe the third, I don't know so much about that. It's weird how you turn something like that, something that they're saying sorry out of consideration, and you just made it totally inconsiderate. Granted, you know, not everybody needs to be, you know, have their hand held. Every single one of those women depicted in the commercial, they're all adult women. They should be able to handle, you know, whatever is going their way. They're already working in jobs, apparently, you know, that's what they're depicting. You know, with the exception of the mother, we don't know what her job is. I mean, we only get so much from what we see in the commercial. But the women that are in business settings, office settings and the like, they're already there. They're already taking the time to do what they need to do to get through the day at their jobs. I don't see how a message like this really helps. It might help for young women. But like I said, until you get to the latter part, it's a good message, but then it kind of turns into a selfish message, I think. Anyway, I did check out the hashtag Shine Strong, whatever. I don't Twitter, so this is a new. I don't understand hashtags in all honesty, but I went on it, and they wanted you to post pictures of people that inspired you to be strong and everything. Yes, all that's great and everything. I do find it funny that one person on there posted a BuzzFeed ad, and then when I clicked on it, I was pretty much just welcomed by a message. Sorry, we couldn't find the page you requested. It seemed kind of funny to me at the time, just the situation for this video and everything. What I found interesting about the first situation with the woman looking up at the man is something that I don't know exactly where it comes from, but I've heard commonly that feminists complain about how women are depicted in media. Usually they're looking up at a man, they're in a situation that is considered lesser by its appearance and how it is shot. And so I thought it was interesting now in this Pantene ad that seemed to be showing empowerment of women. One of the first examples they show is a woman looking up at a man and speaking, but the way she is speaking, especially in the later version, it shows that she's not affected by this. So in my opinion, it's good, but I know many feminists would be mad at this, or I assume many feminists would be mad at this, that really have a problem with the way women are represented in the media. Not dropping names at this point, but a lot of people know who we're all speaking of. If you follow any of that, but I found it interesting. Anybody's opinions, like, comment, subscribe, whatever. I don't expect anything from people, but I just thought this was somewhat interesting. I could elaborate on it more, and I know some of the things I said probably aren't my full opinion, I guess. I was kind of in a hurry. But, alright. Till the next video, I've kind of been away. Thank you. Bye.